Okay, Thursday, 15th of February 2024, daily cap trade review for the ES and the NQ. Uh, Ended the day pretty much break even, up a few points, partial follow of the process. So, again, not the best day, just because I did not follow my process completely, but it's at least on the right track for now. And from where I was at the beginning of the week and last week, where I was just completely getting derailed and there was no process whatsoever. So, from that point of view, that it's still progressing. It's obviously a work in progress for pretty much forever, but there's still many things that I need to work out and to build confidence within myself and my process so I can actually really follow it. But I know these are baby steps and maybe even rather slow, but I'll take it since it's still progress, even though it's marginal, it's slow, but it's in the right direction. And now I just need to pump the gas and look where it takes us. Regardless, the plans for the day for ES and NQ, rather straight over plans. So the market is pretty much in a mood that all dips must be bought. Since last October, there hasn't been any dip that doesn't get bought. There hasn't been any real major pullback. All the best that the base are able to do is maintain a few days or a week of balance, and from there we only shoot higher. That's what the theme of the market has been. Buy all dips and get out of all balances to the upside. We had a CPI breakdown on Tuesday, massive gap down, sold off pretty much entire morning and afternoon, and M period said, nope, we're going to buy this dip. This looked a point below previous week's low, so and then it ripped up. So there is this situation of a lick below and fail of a previous week's low. Again, this happened a couple of weeks ago, same situation. The market looked underneath prior week's low and pretty much ripped to new all-time highs. And this is this was the beginning of that process on Tuesday afternoon after all of that CPI breakdown. Spiked up, opened on a gap up Wednesday and bought the dip again on Wednesday and only dipped higher. The plan was simple: look for this sell gap to pretty much close. The trend remains firmly to the upside on all time frames. This is just a little pullback in the bigger picture view, and really simple. Ended up with a spike, so that becomes an important area of inflection. So if it has the spike, go long and close the gap. And that was the main idea for today. Overnight, they formed a little demand zone here, just above the spike. So basically, the overnight low is the spike base, and then from there, forms a little zone, pushes up higher. At one point of time, almost looking like they will open on a gap up. And so, yeah, simple plan: buy any dip that comes near the spike base, and this was an area that I decided that since we were pretty much trying to open on a gap up, so if we do not test either the prior day high and the spike base before, and then we straight up open at or near this sell gap close, which is also a little which is also a little bit of a supply zone from here. And it's a little V-shaped profile that formed on Monday, and then from there we consolidated at the lows, and Tuesday we sold off. So there was this little bit of volume shelf that if we were to not test any of this before and straight away come up here on a gap up, that's where I would try to look for a short. And then the plan really simply mentioned if coming after the test, I will discard the short. I'm expecting some trap participants here willing to get out. So if you're long from here, just be careful, but I'm not looking for any short if we were to test this section before. And simple plan. And same context on the NQ. Similar selling off Tuesday, end of day dip, buy the dip on Wednesday, and similar idea if we can buy the dip again on Thursday at a favorable location. The location NQ also closed with a spike, so the spike base becomes the first level of interest. So that was my first idea, longs from the spike base. If the spike base holds, and go to the prior day high and then close the gap. And if we were to fail the spike, not looking for a short, but looking for a long from this really key area between 17,800, 770, whatever. And why this area was really important is this is the prior top of the top of the prior 2-week balance area. Prior resistance turns into support. This is where the CPI breaks down, and we retested it from under and sold off from there. And then even Thursday, we had a lot of difficulty getting throughout this region. We stayed underneath it for the most part of the day and ripped again at the end of the day on Wednesday. So if the spike base fails, this really is a key area. It's a volume ledge for a massive distribution underneath, from which we traversed the entire thing just on Tuesday with the CPI sell-off, bought the dip, got out of it on Wednesday, and now we are here Thursday. And this is a key area for buyers to hold. And that was it. Long from here, otherwise long from here. And similar to the ES, short from here if we were to open on a gap up and not test any of this before. But if we had already tested these levels and we are ripping higher, I discard the short and maybe just consider it as a quick scalp depending on how we are and where we are in the intraday time frame. And real simple plan: buy off the spike, buy off the dip, and that's that. And the plan pretty much played out as it was laid. I, although, did not capitalize it on how I could have. So the first long was here. On the first test of the spike, I went long. And I got out of this trade break even, so I went long and the trade went 20 points in my favor. And it wicked VWAP, and I put my stop break even at that point of time because it's already up 20 points, and that's how it should be. And I get out of the trade break even, and that's okay. It was a 13-point stop, so I wasn't going to get out of anything under 26, and I did not. So I'm happy I followed my process. Turned out break even, which is fine, doesn't matter. I followed the process, well done. And then same thing, we failed the spike, we come literally into the key level, and I bought the first change and good entry, but I did not follow the stop. And on this little wick, I just got scared and I closed the position immediately, thinking that we're going to sell off. And obviously we went to the first target, which is the spike base, and maybe a little bit even further. And that was my first process-based mistake for the day, where I did enter well, but I did not manage it correctly. And the main reason here was I realized that whenever I set a stop, it's easier for me to just let it go rather than not setting the stop. So in this trade, when I went long here, I just set the stop and I let it be. And then even when it went all the way and came down all the way, I just let the stop be and accepted that part, or somewhat accepted that part, that it is what it is, and let it be. And only when this went all the way up there that I moved the stop break even. And so I really followed the process well in the first trade. And in this one here, I got scared and hesitated to not put the stop in. Just while I was putting the stop in, the hand was at the close button, and on a little wick, I just closed out immediately. And that's where I failed my process. And that was that. And obviously, seeing it rip, reach the target even more, and I was really not happy at this point of time. But at least it made me realize what I need to do. I need to just set my stops, and by doing so, I'm much more inclined to be able to let go of the trade in some ways. Like if I set the stop, I usually would not move it as such. But if I don't set the stop, my hand stays on the close button, and every little tick up or tick down, it affects or it bothers the position that I'm holding. It bothers me with the position that I'm holding, and that was something that I learned today. It's not the first time that this has happened, but today I just firmly recognize and realize it, and decide to make a change that as soon as I'm in a position, there will be a stop, and that is that. And there was nothing to do here after for a long, 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 long time. Obviously, there were opportunities here, but since I only take trades near my area, that's fine. I did not take any of those. It doesn't bother me. This is what bothers me by not following the process. Get close, break even, need to set stop loss and leave out on that little wick. And then NQ was selling off rather strong. There was decent selling pressure in NQ for the first couple of hours. ES, on the other hand, was just holding its prior day high rather firmly, not even trying to test the spike. And ES was much, much, much stronger. NQ was selling off, and then we came here. I missed this test, and this would have been a loss, but this is again a deviation from process, and I did not take this one. This one was just a beautiful trades here, which I did not take, and this is me avoiding risk, running away from risk, and obviously running away from process because this is the part of the process, taking both of these trades. And of course, it ends up going this time. It ends up going to the final target, and there I was sitting on the sideline. I had opportunity here. I had opportunity here. Obviously more risk, but I still had decent enough opportunity, which would have fit my current process-based goals of just taking the trade, not worry so much about the stop and the RR, and test my levels and my direction. But I failed to follow my process, and that is what hurts the most in my today's performance. Not that I missed a massive move, not that I left a lot of points on the table, none of that. I wouldn't have taken the entire thing anyways, but not following the process, that is the issue. And that was that. There only really one spike opportunity in this couple or three of these, and that was that on the NQ. Never really got up to the level, and anyway, we were coming from after testing all of this, so it did provide a scalp opportunity, but after hours doesn't matter. One thing that surprised me on the NQ today, that we missed closing the cap by a few points. which was rather strange. Like while we were up here, I was pretty much banking on the fact I was not in a position, but banking on the fact that okay, the the gap is going to close, but for some reason or the other, we missed the gap by a few points. Obviously, we closed it after hours, and now we are slated to open up on a gap up yet again. So, not yet again, but today on Thursday we opened at prior day's high. Same on Wednesday we opened at prior day's high, and now again third day in a row, very bullish open. Same as the ES, and now really the only upside target is pretty much the all-time high, and probably that will be the plan that I'll make for today. Find a region somewhere here, most likely somewhere here, and go long, and we'll see that in my plan tomorrow. And for the ES, nothing really set up. So there was this little demand zone, as I mentioned in the plan, but since we had a decent bit of selling here that came up, so we found pretty much like a double top, triple top right at the overnight high, maybe take the overnight high even, and we sold off quite powerfully, and then we absorbed a lot of buyers here which were buying the previous day's high as they were supporting it entire overnight session and the morning session. So there's a decent bit like 5k buyers net absorbed, decent bit of selling, and then again a decent bit of selling, and that's when I decided to just take out the demand zone, and but still firmly wanted to try along off the spike. Obviously, there's nothing to say that even if it come up to the spike and tested it, I would have taken that long, because as we can see, I wanted to take the long here and I did not take. But at least that's, so I cannot promise that I would have taken that long, but I can firmly say that that was the idea that was in my head. Take a long, test the spike and take a long. But yeah, we never really tested the spike. All this massive bit of selling just completely reversed. Negative 3k at the lows, negative pretty much another 1.5 or whatever at the lows, and they just took them all and planted them up, and just there was no looking back, no real opportunity. Maybe if we consider the demand zone, but the decision to remove it was objective. It wasn't emotional based, like it was here where I was avoiding risk. So yeah, not, it is what it is. Nothing really set up in the yesterday as I would have. Obviously, there are opportunities, clear opportunities, but since they don't fit in my current system, that's okay. And obviously, there was no short here at any point of time, because, as it was mentioned in the plan, this is coming after the tests of all of the levels and just rallying higher. I expect some consolidation, but I do not expect to take a shot, and that was that. That was what happened. And yeah, that was another intraday choice as well. Like even if I were to take a shot, there's really no real viable target to have any sort of risk reward. Like the best probably we could do was test the morning's high, but then again, this breakout was rather strong. We built energy all morning, and then we finally broke out of it, and we left a set of single prints, and there was really no. It would have been absolutely senseless to try to take that shot. It says in the plan don't take it anyway, but even if the plan didn't say it, that would have been absolutely stupid. So obviously I didn't do anything. I just sat on hands, took only 2 trades, pretty much break even, and that was that. Here, people did try to sell, as we can see. Either they were getting out of positions or actual selling. Don't know what it was, but heaps and heaps of selling. 5k sellers absorbed here, like -1,000, -1,000, -1,000, -1,000, just here at the lows in a 4-point range. At the highs, in a 3-4 point range and another 1200 in this very small range. And buyers just took everything. They protected the singles. They went up with a double distribution day up. Pretty much they went trend. They went with the trend up, and there was all these sellers. They all those got consumed, and pretty much out we go. Take out all targets for the day, and now again after hours, looking like that we will open on a gap up, but that's for tomorrow. So not entirely happy with my performance today, but it is I I'm well aware of the fact that even though I know what the issues are, it's not a 1 day fix. So I am giving myself some of that time, but I'll see that I don't keep on making the same things and just take longer than it should. And that's where we're at for today. Anyway, awesome.